Hello, I'm Sharath and welcome to Building Beautifully. In this video we'll be exploring the Sydney Metro Western Sydney Airport.
Wait, Sharath, what are you doing here?
What do you mean? I'm here to take over your channel. I'm just joking. I'm here to help discuss the problem of the Sydney Metro Western Sydney International Airport Metro line. Oh goodness, that's a mouthful.
Jokes aside, Sharath and I are teaming up today to discuss the problem with the Sydney Metro Western Sydney Airport line. In 2026, Sydney's second international airport, known as the Nancy Bird Walton Western Sydney Airport, will be opening in Western Sydney, and therefore we need a rail line to connect to it. So the government has decided to build a brand new rail line known as the Sydney Metro Western Sydney Airport line, stretching from St Mary's down to a brand new suburb, Aerotropolis. The line consists of 6 stations, 1 being an already existing station and the remaining 5 being brand new stations. Services will start at the existing St Mary's train station located in Western Sydney. It will then continue on down to Orchard Hills, followed by Luddenham, Business Park, Airport Terminal and Aerotropolis, where the trains will then terminate and head back to St Mary's. Now it's time to discuss the problem. I'll hand it over to Sharath to start off with.
Hey Elliot. So the Western Sydney Airport Metro has already been quite the controversial project. Many have already labelled it a white elephant, declaring that it will run empty for much of the day due to the low population of the area. I'm not going to speculate on that, but let's just say it didn't have to be this way. They could have extended the Southwest Rail Link to the new airport instead, which would have been cheaper. With some rearranging of the lines, they could have sent the T8 to the new airport and the T2 and T5 south to Campbelltown, meaning that Kingsford Smith Airport would have been linked directly to the new airport by rail, allowing for seamless transfers between the two airports, while also linking the new airport to the city via one train line. Instead, the government opted for a far more roundabout route, one that will require passengers to transfer at St Mary's if they want to get to the city. But I don't think it's all doom and gloom. There's still a chance for the Minns Labor government to extend the Southwest Rail Link to the new airport. Over on my channel a few months ago, I suggested that they could just do this by converting it to a metro and link it up with the Western Sydney Airport Metro. In fact, that seems to have been the plan for a few years now. But I've now changed my mind about that. In fact, I think instead they should simply extend the Southwest Rail Link as a heavy rail line. Here's why. First of all, the Southwest Rail Link provides extra capacity to the Sydney Trains network by giving somewhere else for trains on the main south to terminate. If it was converted to a metro, there would be less capacity on the T2, T5 and T8, meaning lower frequencies on all those lines. Second of all, this leaves open the possibility of a direct train line between both airports and the city. Trust me, with the airport located as far out west as it is, being able to advertise that it is just one train ride all the way to Sydney CBD should be a godsend for driving passenger growth. One train from Nancy Bird Walton all the way to Circular Quay Station with this amazing view of the Sydney Harbour Bridge. Imagine marketing that for international customers. Finally, if they extend it as a heavy rail, this means that the Western Sydney Airport Metro can be extended easily down south to Macarthur without the need for a branch line. A branch line would otherwise complicate scheduling, as you'd have half the frequency on each branch as you would on the central core of the line. At any rate, I'd urge Chris Minns to get on with the job and extend the Southwest Rail Link as a heavy rail line to the new airport. Back to you, Elliot.
Thanks, Sharath. My main take on the Sydney Metro Western Sydney Airport line is its lack of connections, as Sharath mentioned. The only way of getting to the city straight away from the Western Sydney Airport, even without using the metro, is supposedly going to be a bus link from the Western Sydney Airport into the city. And I think you can understand what I'm trying to say here. A bus from the airport, which is already heavily inaccessible, with passengers who are disabled or in wheelchairs, cannot get on the bus into the city. That's one of the main problems, but also the fact how buses normally break down and are always caught in traffic. Although buses may prove a help in the future, as they do plan on building some more airport terminals if the Western Sydney Airport is proven successful. That's when I think we can then look at bus shuttle services. My other main take on the Western Sydney Airport line and just Western Sydney Airport in general is that they are supposed to be building heaps of apartments at just basically a city around the airport. And well, as you can see just here, it's nearly mid-2024 and the airport is set to open in 2026, and there is no sight of any construction work to be done on roads, shops, or new buildings. The last major problem with the line is how it's not connected to the Sydney Metro West line, which is only a couple kilometres away from the terminus at St Mary's. The Sydney Metro West line, which I've already done a video on, which you can see on the top right of the screen just here, spans from Hunter Street in the city down through to Westmead. A connection between the two lines between both Westmead and St Mary's would be a huge benefit for people living in Western Sydney, but also for the new Western Sydney International Airport. Another thing is that the Sydney Metro Northwest and Sydney South West lines use the exact same power supply as the Sydney Trains network, but the Sydney Metro West and Western Sydney Airport lines are using a different track gauge and also a different power supply, which means that those lines can be connected, unlike the potential link between St Mary's and Tallawong on the Northwest Metro line. The Sydney Metro Western Sydney Airport line is definitely a bit of a questionable line, as not only does it only have 6 stations, but most people don't even call it a line. In fact, they say it might be a shuttle line, because the services only run between the airport and St Mary's, which for some reason doesn't make sense with attaching it to the Metro West line. So since the Metro West is still about 10 years away from opening, I think it'd be a great opportunity to now start work for the extension between the two lines. Just a few weeks ago, Sharath from Building Beautifully was invited to take a look inside the new Western Sydney Airport, and he was kind enough to allow me to provide a little bit of the footage from his video. If you're keen on seeing his full video and you haven't seen it yet, it will be on the top right of the screen. Here's a little bit of his video now.
Alright, so today I'm here at the Western Sydney International Airport with Sam.
G'day, Sharath. Sharath. Like Gareth? I've
Yes.
stuffed it up already.
No, it'll actually be good to teach my viewers, because some viewers get it wrong. So now you guys know how to say my name.
Sharath.
Sharath.
Nailed it. So my name's Sam, Manager of Social Media and Content here at Western Sydney International Airport. So we thought we'd get Sharath.
Yes, Sharath.
And Paul out to have a bit of a tour and show them around.
Yeah, great, thank you. We are going to be the first people, or the first civilians, I guess, to touch the runway.
The runway.
Taxiway.
It's a good place to do push-ups.
I'm very bad at push-ups. I'm very bad at this.
The push-up I did was really bad. I've never been able to actually do push-ups, and I'm just too embarrassed to show you guys, and I'm comfortable with that, so yeah, let's just keep going.
And here are some clips from Sharath of the new airport. So on the right side of the screen just here is what the airport will look like once it's complete, and obviously what it looks like now. Heavily unfinished, but it is on its way there. My overall opinion on the Sydney Metro Western Sydney Airport line is that I feel like it definitely is very far out of Sydney, but although that is kind of known to be a thing in other cities among the world where their airports and rail systems are far away, it's just that the only problem with Sydney is that their rail system, which is the Sydney Metro Western Sydney Airport line, is nowhere near connected to the city. After summarising everything throughout the video, I think we've come down to 2 solutions. One, which is mine, which is that we extend the Sydney Metro Western line towards Sydney Metro Western Sydney Airport line, whether it meets at St Mary's or at the airport stations a little further down the line. The only problem with this is that we will still have to wait an extra about 5 years until the Sydney Metro West line is opened, not to mention having to then do more construction work, meaning that could even go into the 2040s before we see something like that. What is the best solution though is Sharath on extending the heavy rail train line on the South West Rail Link from Leppington to Aerotropolis. I think it'd be a good idea to extend it to Aerotropolis and also put it back on the T8 line, as the T8 is already known as being the airport line, and the T8 line is also very well known for its frequent express trains. So I think a good idea could be something like the already all stops Revesby services will no longer terminate at Revesby, but instead head down to stations such as East Hills or something, or even down to Macarthur. Then we have Macarthur trains that, instead of heading down to Macarthur, will head to the new airport, as those trains are already express services. And for passengers that are travelling at the all-stop stations, they can easily just catch a train to either Walleye Creek or Revesby for a connection. That is generally my opinion on the T8 line potentially being extended along to the Western Sydney Airport. This video is now unfortunately coming to a close, but we have a little message from Sharath from Building Beautifully.
Thank you for having me on your channel, Elliot. Be sure to check out my YouTube channel, Building Beautifully, if you haven't already. Link in the top right.
Thank you indeed, Sharath. Anyways everyone, that is it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and even subscribing to the channel, as it would mean a lot. Also, let me know your opinion about the Sydney Metro Western Sydney Airport line in the comments below, and what you think should be done, or if you have any bonus ideas. Anyways, that is it for this video. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you guys all next time.